Here I thought we were going to stick to the idea, make the nice, concise, easy to edit video, and already we're off on drunken pancakes. Oh, and by the way, they're totally not gay because while he was dead, Wilson went and got married. So
Watson.
Watson. Sorry.
Also, he got married like 2 books before that.
Oh yeah, I haven't read these since I was a kid.
Yeah, no, like he got engaged at the end of The Side of the Four, which is the 2nd book.
Yes.
And then he was married in the first story in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and then when Sherlock Holmes returns at the beginning of the Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes, Watson's wife is nowhere to be found.
That's right.
That's
why I always screw up the order, because there's this continuity drop.
Someone needs to put that bitch on a milk carton. She is missing.
Well, I mean, like, I've read this, and I have no idea if it's true, that basically the whole Watson getting married thing was basically because people were asking whether they were gay.
Really?
I don't know.
Like, even the Victorians were like, dude, this is hella gay.
And, like, I read that, like, oh, what magazine was he publishing in?
The Strand.
Yeah, and they were kind of like, this is, like, maybe too gay? And he's like, oh, yeah, this is pretty gay.
Let's make this less gay.
Let's make this less gay.
Yep.
We've had this conversation, not on camera, those do happen occasionally, where I need to reread Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I read the famous works of Fitzgerald as like a 13, 14-year-old, found them overblown and obnoxious, and everyone on the internet and Sarah are all like, go reread them as an adult and you'll appreciate it. And like, even as a kid, I'm like, the prose is nice. I just have no interest in what's going on with these characters. Like, okay, everybody's dead. I don't care. I'm not invested in any of these people at all. You know, some of the building around it's nice. Who wrote the Martian Chronicles? That was
Bradbury.
Ray Bradbury. I have a similar thing where it's like, the prose is nice and the story's cool. I don't care about any of these people at all. And he was a short story writer. So I'm going to give him a little bit more room than like The Great Gatsby, where by the end of it, I'm still just like, all of your lives are terrible and destroyed and you all deserve it.
That's the point, though.
But yeah, but I was like 13, 14. I'm like, where's my in?
That's
you know what I mean?
You need to reread it.
Like, let me also tell you, though, that actually, comparing him to a fan fiction writer might be apt, because just like I'm sure every fan fiction writer has their magnum opus, the one, maybe just episode within a larger work they're doing that's like almost unintentionally amazing. 1/3 of the Divine Comedy is an amazing read. The other 2/3 are a terrible slog. Oh my god. Paradiso and
I don't know. I don't remember.
Paradiso is heaven, and the in-between.
Purgatory?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the Latinized is, like Purgatorio or something weird like that.
Probably.
They're terrible. They are just, for one thing, okay, the fucking Purgatory. Like, it's designed to just be blah. Like, it's just it's a fucking book of describing the color beige, followed by Paradise, which is all just like, woo, just, you know, just titties and beer. Like, it's this weird, like, it's terrible. And yeah, the Inferno is great. The imagery is great. You know, like I'll tell you, any uber nerds out there that are Dungeons and Dragons players, let me tell you, the 9 hells of Inverness are just taken right straight out of the Inferno. It's, you know, it's solid work, but just a lot of the names inserted in there are just people that personally pissed him off. Where it's like, oh yeah, that dude that wrote me a ticket that one time, he's getting his genitals eaten off by fish.
That's literally what happens.
It is the most bitter work of comeuppance. Like, it's really more political satire than it is an actual commentary on the divine. I
think calling it satire is like giving it far more credit than it actually warrants.
It's worth reading. You've all read it anyway. Nobody makes it through high school without being forced to read it. But remember, they don't make you read the other 2/3.
Yeah, I didn't have to read that in high school.
Really?
No.
No, we did.
When did you read that?
Freshman year? Something like that?
We did the Odyssey.
I did that too.
Yeah, we did the Odyssey and the Grapes of Wrath and Midsummers.
Did not do the Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
Excellent book, though. Much better than the Inferno, actually. Here's the thing. If you want to appreciate Jack Kerouac, you need a couple ingredients. One, you need to be a dude. Two, you need to be an angry teenager. And three, you need to have not discovered anybody better beforehand. I will give Jack Kerouac this. I feel like Jack Kerouac is an excellent way to introduce an angry 13-year-old to poetry.
That's probably fair.
That is the nicest thing I'm going to say about Jack Kerouac. Because, you know, look, it's really, really hard to be rich white dude in America.
It's so hard, guys.
Like, so hard.
So hard.
All of the feelings about being white and people not understanding you and needing to howl and drive fast.
Yeah.
And, you know, fuck chicks you don't care about.
Like, all of the beat writers turned out to be horrible human beings. So.
And who would have seen that coming based on what they were writing? Which is just anger.
Yeah.
On paper. It's like everybody, I also feel like the people who are really blown away by the beat writers, like, don't realize that Dada came first. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think people who look at it like, oh, this is crazy, this is unlike anything that came before. No, not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yes.
I've thought this before, where... Yeah, there's a lot of the great, you know, Dada work that comes out that feels like, you know, like the angry beat poets before the angry beat poets, except they were actually, one, being original, and two, reacting against... I mean, Jack Kerouac, let me put it down for you. And chicks are there to fuck you, Eisenhower. Kerouac.
It seems so hilariously quaint to be super mad at Eisenhower, like, now with hindsight.
Right? He only knew what was coming.
Oh, man.
Like, I was an angry young man once. I really loved Catcher in the Rye. Probably would not now. But when I read it at the time, I loved it.
Weirdly, I hated it when I read it when I was 14. I feel like I would be kind of into it now. I gotta reread it. Like, that's a project for the future, rereading the stuff that I hated as a teenager. I'm
avoiding rereading it because I'm afraid I'm gonna hate it.
I can understand that, but I really hated it when I was 14, so it's not like I could hate it more. Like, there's no risk for me.
Tolkien and Lewis were both teaching at Cambridge, I want to say?
I thought it was Oxford.
Oxford, thank you. Why did I say Cambridge? Oxford, yes, both teaching at Oxford. And they got into a heated debate as to what the foundational mythology of Western civilization was. Wait for it. Guess what Tolkien said? Tolkien said, you know, Norse mythology. Clearly, that's the basis for the foundational origin story for Western mythology. C.S. Lewis says, no, the Bible. The Bible is clearly where we draw all of our inspiration from as a civilization. And the two of them went out and just kept writing these letters, these open, angry letters back and forth through the department. Anybody who works at a university now and sees the listserv of angry professors screaming at each other in, like professional but snide ways, this was better. Because this is two very talented writers ripping each other. One very talented writer and one overwrought writer yelling at each other. That's not fair. C.S. Lewis is a talented writer who just, oh my God. I read all of those stupid books as a kid. Kind of hated them as I was reading them, but like was fascinated by the world building going on.
Someday I'm gonna have to make a video about my very complicated feelings about the Narnia books.
Fuck the Narnia books, because they're like, oh, it's this really fun, interesting, very kid-friendly mythology with like great characters and swashbuckling and fun to be had. And, you know, heavy-handed Bible stories and slut-shaming. And, you know what? No, pre-slut-shaming. The idea that she might someday become a slut means that she can never... Okay, spoiler alert? Half a century later?
The spoiler is that Susan doesn't get to go to heaven because she's a whore.
She's not allowed to enter Aslan's manger, like literal fucking manger, because she's a teenager now and she wears makeup and might like boys. So screw her. So the rest of them get to go in the manger. It's this clear allegory for heaven. Oh, by the way, also C.S. Lewis clearly states throughout all these books that the worst thing that ever happened to him was growing up. Like, he's like this weird fetishization of childhood, which, like, okay, like, let's just compare the endings of the Tolkien trilogy and the Narnia books. The Tolkien trilogy ends with people who were young at heart returning home as adults, as men and women who've experienced, all the women were at least 1,000 years old to begin with, so, you know, there's not a lot of development going on there.
I found that deeply relatable. I am also 1,000 years old and eternal.
Clearly. They're returning home, you know, they're scarred, they're grizzled, they're older, but they're basically wiser and better for it. C.S. Lewis murders the children to make sure they never have to get older. Die in a horrifying train wreck on their way back when they can, you know, hey, war's over. We don't have to hide in the countryside anymore. Dead. Because growing up would be terrible. The worst thing that could happen to his characters is having to grow up. And if you ever want the best examination of these books and why they're amazing and terrible at the same time, read The Magician and its two sequels. Magicians, excuse me.
But yes, you should do that.
Nicely sums up a lot of our feels about these Narnia books. Like, I enjoy Faulkner. Like, not... Well, enjoy. I mean, I appreciate... Might be better. I like his prose. The stories are garbage. Does that make any sense?
No, I get that.
He's a good writer. I just don't care what he has to say. Like, I probably like him better as like a fan fiction writer. You know, and I don't even read fan fiction. Just, I don't know. For some reason, I almost just want to see like Virginia Woolf and Faulkner just like trade stories and write each other's stories and see what those end up looking like.
Oh, that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
That's like a really interesting thought experiment. Like different authors' stories as written by other authors.
Because, like, I don't know, like, Virginia Woolf is a much... How do I put this? I feel like Faulkner's a better writer. I feel like she is more interesting.
I can see that, yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like, again, I think part of my problem might just be that Faulkner is an excellent writer who's stuck in his, you know, middle-class white dude mind that is just boring, has just been there, done that. But, I don't know, it's an interesting thought experiment about people who, you know, are dead. So it's not going to be happening anytime soon, but fun stuff. Are you gonna intro this? Or
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to intro this. If I can remember literally any words in the English language.
Murder, fuck, kill.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to take this? Are you too drunk?
I'm not too drunk. I'm just bad at this. Okay. Center. God damn it. Oh.
Unique New York.
Don't stop. Okay. My shirt is weird. Okay. No, like I can see it in the viewfinder and it's okay. Stop laughing at me.
2 minutes in.
It's 1:45. Give me. Don't take those extra 15 seconds away from me. Okay. I'm so sorry. Oh God, this is 100% me. I'm so sorry.
Hi, today we're playing Murder, Fuck, Kill with authors.
That's... So we're murdering two different people.
Murder, Fuck, Kill.
Okay.
Kiss my... Or what, oh, shit, no, I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, okay.
We're a train wreck here.
Today...
Let's do Murder, Fuck, Kill. We amuse no one but ourselves.
Okay. Okay. I'm so sorry.
Once again, you're dysfunctionally drunk and sober you can be pissed.
This really doesn't have anything to do with the drinking. I'm in a giggle loop. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. All right.